Yesterday, President Buhari of Nigeria in his nation address approved the continued use of old 200 Naira notes to ease the cash shortage in the country. He said the old 200 Naira notes will coexist with the new ones. However, it did not allow of the use of the old 500 Naira and 1,000 Naira notes, but said the Central Bank of Nigeria would continue to accept them. Joining us to discuss further is Ugo Obi-Chukwu, who is the founder and partner at Naira Metrics. Ugo, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Starting in Nigeria, what did you make of the president's address yesterday with only the 200 Naira notes being allowed in circulation until April 10th? Do you think it will push more people, this whole exercise, push more people into a more cashless lifestyle?
Hi, Rotus. That is the hope that is going to push a lot more people into the cashless lifestyle. But I don't think that was just the intention of the president. If you were listening to his speech, the 1,200 and I think 71 or so speech that he gave, I think as much as he was trying to allay the concerns of a lot of people who had old notes and people who couldn't lay their hands on cash, that was basically his focus. And if you did read that speech, I think two areas actually caught our attention at Naira Metrics. And firstly, it was him, saying that this was basically to address the issue of vote buying. Right. He specifically mentioned that in the speech that, with the efforts, of course, under his approval that the CBN is putting forward to clear old Naira notes and introduce new Naira notes, he didn't want, vote buying or, influence, political influence in voting through, cash payments. And that really is the target for him. And I kind of see this as something he considers his legacy. Now, controversial as it is, that is really what is more, it kind of looks like it's very personal to him. On the flip side as well, Rotos, it also sounds like it's a huge defiance of the Supreme Court order. I think that debate is going to linger on for some time. Where do you sort of draw the line? What is more important? Is it obeying the Supreme Court order, or is it maybe ensuring that, the politics is removed or detached completely from vote buying? I think history would at some point determine who is right here. But in terms of whether this is good for electronic banking or e-banking or cashless society, as we all expect, yes, it will be. But I think nobody is against that policy. And if you listen to even those who are for and against it, nobody really for and against the swap of the Naira for the older for the new notes. The problem really is the implementation, Rotus. It's just the way it's been implemented through. We all know clearly what the advantages are, for going cashless for this country. Whether you like it or not, it portends huge advantage for the fintech sector. It's likely to create millions of jobs as we go on. We already see opportunities as things are unfolding. I think it's just the implementation that we need to get right. And personally, Rotus, is not really the swap that's the problem for me here. I think the problem really is the availability of cash. So people can't even lay their hands on a new note. So even if you do want to swap, but can you really lay your hands on the new notes? That really is the problem. And a lot of the limits that we've placed to cash withdrawals, and I think you can't withdraw more than, is it 20,000 a week or something? I think those are the challenges and those are the areas where the CBN really needs to look into. Even if you reintroduce the 200 old note into the system, it will help reduce a lot of the challenges we're seeing. But, Rotas, very well, you still can't lay your hand on cash. These days, cash is king.
Very true, Ugo. Ugo, you guys cover tech a lot on Naira Metrics. I want to get your thoughts on this Tesla recall of their full self-driving vehicles, about 362,000 of them. What's your view on self-driving cars? Would you sit behind the wheel of a self-driving vehicle?
I have sat behind the wheels of a self-driving vehicle. Well, kind of like, yeah. I was on a trip in New York sometime, and I was actually driving a car, and then my friend who owned the car said, "Look, don't just allow it drive itself. Don't hold." I'm like, "No, man, I ain't doing that." He said, "No, allow it," and I did allow it, and it did drive. But as with technology, there are always going to be challenges, and you're offending Elon Musk by calling it a recall. Elon Musk said it is not a recall. Right? He said it's not a recall. That look, this is something that you can fix with a software. But when it comes to self-driving and safety of human beings, this is not a software matter. You don't want a self-driving car to run into a stop sign when it clearly should stop moving. And I think those are the challenges. He claims it's a software patch that they can fix over the air, just basically just sending software updates to Tesla car owner, then that's fixed. I think this is still a very nascent industry. There's still a lot to learn, still a lot to do. With the introduction of AI and advanced technology, I think self-driving cars will be normal, Rotus, normal. Like, remember, man, look at the dashboard you're seeing here. Back in the days, like 20 years ago, the kind of dashboard you had is not the type you have now. In fact, you have to remove your tape recorder, put it in your pocket, and go inside your house so that they don't steal it. But these days, everything comes fitted with the car. So I think it's still growing. Whether you like it or not, it's going to happen. And there's a lot of investment going in this space, not just in Tesla. Even in the US, even in China. In fact, I think there's a China car. I've forgotten the name again. Is it BTS or BVS?
BYD, yeah, BYD.
Even bigger than
yeah,
BYD, exactly.
Yeah.
Probably even bigger than Tesla. So it's going to catch on with the sort of money going in there. It's just a matter of time. Nothing to be too worried about.
All right, Ugo. Well, actually, another final question for you, Dan. We actually talked about this in another segment on the creator side. ChatGPT. Can you see this is AI now? You mentioned AI with Tesla. Can you see a day where you replace all your writers at Nairametrics with artificial intelligence? What's your thoughts on that nascent sector as well?
No, man, you're trying to put me on the spot. No way. We're not replacing writers with ChatGPT. Oh, by the way, I'm a huge fan of it. I actually even subscribe to the premium version. I love it so much. You know what I've learned, Rotus, over time using it? It's not a tool to replace human beings in total. I think it's to improve. And just like, what is meant to be artificial intelligence, it's meant to learn how you do things. So sometimes you actually have to feed it with a lot of information and like, no, do it this way, do it that way. And then it starts to also learn how you work. In fact, you can actually customize it to you. Sometimes I tell you, hi, this is Ugo again. You know how I like to do my things. I said, oh, Ugo, I know how you like to do your things. And then we start to interact and it starts to rewrite things the way I want. And we actually do use it on Nairametrics. In fact, we started using it about a week ago. We've seen a lot of improvements in the way our articles are structured. So it also understands how Nairametrics writes its own articles. So what it tries to do is like make it simpler, make it easier for our readers to understand, and that is the power of it. It's almost like using maybe Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel, right? It kind of like replaced calculators, not human beings, right? So you still need to be able to use software like Microsoft Excel to create very solid Excel models. And that's basically what ChatGPT is. So if you're able to use AI programs like ChatGPT, and there are several others as well, you're able to use them very, very well. It only improves your output. And I think that is what matters here. I don't think that it's fully going to replace human beings. I don't think so. Technology would displace human beings that are not efficient, human beings that are not skilled at using it. It's going to replace you. And that's why we always say, so try as much as possible to catch on. Do not live in the world 20 or 25 years ago. You got to be in the world of today and try to learn and understand how these things work, how it functions and how it can help you improve your life. And I think that's what matters, Rotus. And I hope you started using it yourself for your program.
I have. I'm getting into it little by little. Great stuff. Always a pleasure having you on the show. Ugochukwu Obi-Chukwu, the founder, partner at Nairametrics. Thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.